Welcome back to the YouTube channel of Prorenzo Vids, and this afternoon is my round 10 NRL tips for 2025. So, 10 weeks into the season already. It feels like it's gone that quick, it's crazy, but as it does every year, I guess. But look, round 10 should be a good round of footy. Manly are back this weekend, so that's good to see as well after the bye and the week off, which I'm sure would have hopefully benefited us in a big way, having the week off. Back at Brook against the Sharks, I'll be there as always, but it should be a good round of footy. Most clubs coming off Magic Round wins and losses, so we'll see how they all recover from being in Brisbane. But there's some big games to look out for this week, actually. A lot of games to really keep an eye on. I think the main one for me anyway is definitely the Raiders and Dogs in Canberra. That's a huge game. Like, I honestly, as I sit here right now, I'm still sort of contemplating who to back for that one. But yeah, like a game like that is going to be so good for the round of footy. It's very awesome to see. But as always, though, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. About 9 subs away from 5,300 subscribers, so very close to that current goal. And yet again, the support's been greatly appreciated, so I do appreciate everyone for subscribing if you are new around here. And yeah, it means a lot, so thank you very much. But here we go. Here are my tips from round 10. So first up, it is the Eels and the Dolphins at CommBank Stadium on Thursday night. So look, Parramatta, tough loss to the Sharks last week. They were actually in the game for a long time there, I felt like, but I think the Sharks just had a bit more in the end to win the game. I've seen some people say that the Sharks were lucky to win the game because Parramatta were robbed due to that KL Ero try. Now, yeah, that was a tough call. That was not a try, in my opinion. Looking back at the replay, definitely lost the ball there, but what's done is done now, I guess, and we'll see how Parramatta respond back at home this week against the Dolphins, who I thought were pretty shocking against the Roosters, to be fair, considering their form before that loss last Friday. But looking at both sides, both changes for both sides. For the Eels, Matt Doorey has been added to the bench in place of Sam Tuivasa, who's out for a long time with injury, I believe. Brendan Hands is listed among the reserves as he closes in on a return from a knee injury, and Ryan Madison is listed as 18th man. And for the Dolphins, a double boost in the forward pack for them with Felice Kafusi back from a knee injury and Kurt Donahue back from an ankle injury. Mark Nichols goes to the bench. Oren Keeley drops to reserves, and Jeremy Marshall-King will miss the game due to complications related and to a cut received early in the season. Okay, well, that's JMK going for this game. But my tip for this one should be a decent game, I think. I'm actually going to back the Eels for a win, actually. I don't know what it is, but I think Parramatta would be hurting from the game last week. And Parramatta obviously have some things to work on, but I think they could get the job done here. I think Dolphins are good, but I'm not quite sold on the Dolphins just yet. I think after last week, it wasn't good enough by them. So I expect Parramatta to bounce back at home. It should be a good crowd, I think, and I think they'll get the win on Thursday. So I'll go Parramatta 1-12. First try scorer, I like Will Pinasini, and anytime try scorers, let's go with Cal Togger in the back row for Parramatta. And for the Dolphins, I'm going to go with Herbie Farnworth for a try. But I think Parramatta win on Thursday. If you rather put your feet up on the couch and watch Netflix on Friday night at 6 o'clock specifically, then I don't blame you at all, because I might do that, to be honest. But it is the Knights and the Titans at McDonald Jones Stadium up there in Newcastle. Yeah, well, both these sides are in bad form. Knights were great last week against the Rabbitohs, but to be fair, Seahawks don't have their full team. And the Titans are just, in a real world of pain right now. So I guess that's why I feel like this game will be a bludger, to be fair. It may not be, because both sides can score points when they're on, but at the moment, not the best advertisement for a game, I don't reckon. But, looking at both sides, let's see how both sides line up. So for the Knights, Adam O'Brien goes with the same squad that beat the Rabbitohs last week and broke their 5-game losing streak as well. And for the Titans, Jojo Fafita is back on deck after missing Magic Round due to an arm infection. So Jaden Campbell was also back to take over at halfback with Tom Weaver out with concussion. And David Fafita, the man that's going around right now with his name, is unavailable for a recall as he's out with an ankle complaint. So we'll see how much that would hurt him going forward. Honestly, get a coin and toss it up, and that's your result, honestly. I just don't know who to go with. I mean, look, Jane Campbell's a good in for the Gold Coast, I think. Jane Campbell brings a lot of attacking flair to that tight attack where I think Knights found their identity in attack last week by shifting the ball. That was really dangerous, I felt like. In Newcastle, 6 p.m. Friday night, I think I'll back Newcastle. I think Newcastle, for me, are the team to win. If Gold Coast won, I wouldn't be shocked. It's that sort of game where Titans would normally win in that sort of game, I guess. But I think Knights at home should win. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'll go Knights 1-12. First try scorer, give me Fletcher Sharp. The man scored a hat-trick last week, so I might as well back him in for a try this week. Anytime try scorers, let's go Dylan Lucas. I think Dylan Lucas is due in the back row this week. And for the Gold Coast, Jojo Fafita, I think he'll score a try this week too. But yeah, Knights 1-12. And rounding out Friday night, it is the Rabbitohs and the Broncos at the Core Stadium. So both sides had pretty bad losses last week in Magic Round. South's losing streak keeps expanding. Yeah, a lot of injuries to that team, but their defence in the middle was terrible against the Knights. Let Jacob Saifidi run for over 200 metres or something, I heard. But either way, the Knights just ran through their forward pack like it was nothing. So it's really up to the players to really make the change in defence, especially, I feel like. As for the Broncos, well, yeah, Bronx, were fine to start the game against the Panthers, but eventually the Broncos just really lost their way and Panthers just outplayed them in the end. And yeah, Broncos, considering who they had named, were pretty awful, I thought, actually. So they'll need to really bounce back and have a big game on Friday night for sure. Looking at both sides, there's a few changes. For the Rabbitohs, Latrell Mitchell is back and will captain the side this week at fullback. Damien Humphries, the big in at halfback, will help Souths a lot, I think. Sliva Havili lines up at hooker with Peter Mamazelos out with a elbow injury. Jai Gray has been named on the bench despite leaving the field with a corked quad, so we'll see if Jai Arrow's fit in time for that game. Fletcher Myers comes in on the starting side on the wing with Isaiah Tass shifting to the centre and Ewan Aiken to the back row. Jai Arrow goes from lock to prop. Tavita Totola is dropped to 18th man. Very interesting call there by Wayne. Keon Kalamatangi starts at prop as well, and Sean Kepi goes back to the bench, and Josh Schuster has played the last 4 games in reserve grade and is listed among the reserves as he chases his first NRL appearance since late 2023. For the Broncos, Ezra Mann will not return this week. He will play reserve grade, so that means the halves are still Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds, and Fletcher Baker returns from a knee injury and replaces Jane Hunt off the bench, I think. Off the bench. Yeah. Okay, my tip for this game. Very tough game to pick this one. Realistically, the Broncos should win based on their team and who they've got named, but there's a weird feeling that's telling me that the Rabbitohs will bounce back this week. Wayne will get the best out of them. And with Humphries back, he'll sort of, help their attack a bit more, I feel like, and Latrell at fullback. Depending on how he plays, I really do think it's really a lot hinges on Latrell, as it always does, but he needs to really stand up for that team, I feel like. So, and I think he will, actually. I think the Rabbitohs will get the win on Friday night. I'll go Souths by 6, 1-12. First try scorer, let's go with Fletcher Myers. Anytime try scorers, going to go with Latrell Mitchell to score a try as well. For the Broncos, going to back Jesse Arthurs. But yeah, another tough game to tip, but I do think the Rabbitohs bounce back at home. All right, the blockbuster game to open up Super Saturday. Raiders versus the Bulldogs at GIO Stadium in Canberra. I've made my decision finally on who to back for this one. But yeah, it should be a good game though, regardless of where both sides are. I mean, look, both sides are literally first and second, so that's why it's gonna be a great game, obviously. But yeah, be a great game. Looking forward to it. Raiders beat Storm in classic fashion last week by a 2-point penalty goal by Jamal Fogarty, their Manly recruit for next year. And for the Bulldogs, I tipped Gold Coast because I thought an upset might come in there. Like an upset happens every week, but no, I was wrong. Dogs were always going to win regardless, but I just felt Titans had a chance, but no, never a chance at all. So I think the Dogs, definitely continue their great ways of season 2025 so far, and they bounced back after that Broncos loss pretty well in Magic Round. Looking at both sides, for the Raiders, no changes to the side that beat the Storm last week. No surprises there. As for the Bulldogs, Matt Burton returns from suspension in the 5/8 jersey, so Bailey Hayward goes back to the bench. Jacob Preston has been named despite his, I guess, appeal to take away his suspension at the judiciary on Tuesday night to a crusher tackle. I think personally it wasn't that bad. Honestly, it was an accident, but we'll see what the higher ups think, I guess. And if he's out, then they'll change the back row position, obviously. What a great game this will be. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. Outside of my game, Manly, I'm keen for this one the most. I'm going to tip the Bulldogs. I think the Bulldogs will get the job done. I don't know what it is, but I think Canberra, great win last week, but that was a long, grinding game, Like, Canberra played until goal on point, and it was in the wet. Being at Suncorp, back at home, will definitely get them refreshed. There's no doubt about that. But I guess, it was a long, grinding game, so I don't know how Canberra will go after that. I could be wrong, but I think Dogs, looked a bit more fresher after their win, so I'll back them to get the job done on Saturday. But can go either way. So I'll go Dogs to win 1-12. First try scorer, I'm liking Sevilla Tamale actually for a try first, and anytime try scorers, let's go with Matty Nicholson in the back row for the Raiders, and for the Bulldogs, going to go with Stephen Crichton for a try. But I've got Dogs to win in Canberra. Alrighty, on to the next game on Super Saturday. It is the Dragons and the Warriors taking on each other at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong. So the Warriors, great win against the Cowboys last week. I mean, they were definitely holding their nerve very tightly at the end there when the Cowboys came back, but came away with a good win there in the end. And as for the Dragons, the Dragons, didn't start the game very well, but came back like the Cowboys against the Warriors, came back pretty well. But fell short to the Tigers, 34-28 loss in Magic Rounds. So back at home in Wollongong, I'm sure the Dragons will be fired up for this one, I reckon. I really think they will be, actually. Looking at both sides, for the Dragons, one change only for the Dragons. Emre Gula is out with a shoulder injury. So on debut is the guy that I've seen a lot, around of his name, been tossed around many times, and I've seen his name a lot. And he's a good player, very, very tall, and he's huge. Loko Pacific Tonga made his debut for the under 19s Blues side, I think, before. And he's a talent, so I think he'll have a great game for the Dragons on Saturday. And for the Warriors, big news, Dallin Watene-Lesniak is back on the wing for the Wars. So, that means Roger Tuivasa-Sheck is listed among the reserves, as he is a chance to return from a hamstring injury. Kurt Capel shifts from back row to centre. Rocco Berry's out with a hamstring, so that's why Capel's at centre. And Jacob Laban returns from a concussion on the bench, and Edwin Kossi is out with a chest injury. I don't know. This game's tough, actually. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like Dragons could definitely win this game for sure. Warriors were lucky to beat the Cowboys in the end, despite how well they played. I'm going to go the Warriors. I think Warriors just. But if Dragons win, I wouldn't be shocked at all. But I think Warriors on the back of Luke Metcalf's great form, and Wade Egan's playing in career best form too. I think the Warriors get the job done. Very close though. I think Warriors by 2 points, not even joking, like 24-22. First try scorer, going to back in Kurt Capewell. And anytime try scorers, let's go with Val Holmes. And for the Warriors, going to go with Leka Halasima in the back row. But nothing in it. Warriors by 2. And wrapping up Super Saturday, we do have another great game to wrap off Saturday night. It is the Cowboys versus the Panthers at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. So the last time these two sides played, we saw what happened. The Cowboys won against all odds pretty much, winning 22 points to 18, I think the score was. That was a good win by the Cowboys. But in Magic Round, they obviously fell short to the Warriors, 30-26, and the Panthers were very impressive against the Broncos, winning 32-8. So we'll see how both sides go after their Magic Round results in this one. But this one should be a good game too, I think. Bit of change for both sides. So for the Cowboys, Sam McIntyre will start at lock in place of co-captain Ruben Cotter, who's out with a 2-game suspension for a high tackle. Thomas McKaylee has been named on the bench for his first NRL game of the year. And for the Panthers now, it's a big ins there. Brian Toto is back from an injury, hamstring injury. First game since round 4, so that's a big in for the Panthers, having Bizza back. And Mitch Kenny is also back at hooker from suspension. So that means Brad Schneider is also in as well. Tom Jenkins has moved to the bench while Trent Toliar and Luke Sorensen and Maverick Geyer drop out. Okay, well, that's some good changes there for the Panthers. Well, the last time, obviously, they played without Ruben Cotter, Cowboys won regardless, but I think with Bizzard back and, having Mitch Kenny back, they really miss Mitch Kenny, the Panthers, with his service and whatever, but last week they definitely played a bit better without him, but... look, we're a close game, but I think Panthers win just. I'll go Panthers by 4. Normally these two sides have close games anyway, but I think Panthers will just prevail on the back of some Cleary class. So, first try scorer, I'll go over the man himself, Brian Toto, and anytime try scorers, Mara Talangi for the Cowboys, and for the Panthers, I'll go with Paul Alamotti, but Panthers by 4. Now, next up on Sunday, it is the Storm and the West Tigers at Amy Park in Melbourne. A game where I feel like the Tigers could definitely cause an upset if they're on, to be honest, but the Storm rarely ever lose after a loss, so I'm sure the Storm back in Melbourne will definitely be fired up for this one, without a doubt. But, Raiders beat them in goal point 20-18 in Magic Round, and the Tigers had a nice win over the Dragons, despite it being really high scoring, 34-28, so... we'll see how both sides respond this week. Should be a good game of footy. Stefano Tuikamanu against his old club. That's going to be pretty funny to see how that all goes, because that didn't really end well when he left the Tigers last year. But looking at both sides, for the Storm, Craig Bellamy has named the same 17 that went down to the Raiders in goal point. Harry Grant is still out. That's a big blow for the Storm. They really miss him, actually. And for the Tigers... who rolls out Benji Marshall, who rolls out the same side that beat the Dragons last week. So no changes for either side, actually. So that's good. Brendan hurt his knee last week, but he's still fine to play so far. So we'll see how he goes through the week. But my tip for this game, I think Melbourne win, honestly. Tigers will give them a good start, I reckon, and really will give them a crack. But I think the Storm's class with... Pappenhausen, Hughes, Munster, that will be enough to get them home, I think. And after a loss as well, Bellamy does not take losses lightly. So, in Melbourne, Sunday Arvo footy, I get vibes of the Warriors and Storm game that happened a couple of weeks ago on Sunday, when the Storm lost to the Dragons the week before and beat the Warriors really well the week after. So, I get the same vibe, but maybe not a thumping. But I think Storm win, though, 13+. First try scorer, I'll go with Sua Faulongo. And anytime trial scorers, let's go with Sean Bloor. And for the West Tigers, I'm going to go with Sania Taruva for a try. But, Storm to win. And last game to close out, round 10. My boys back from the bye. Manly versus Sharks at 4 Pines Park at Brookie. So, classic Sunday Arvos at Brookie. You can't beat it. Looking forward to being there. And should be another sellout, I assume, anyway. So, the last time we played the Sharks, they beat us in Perth, and... I don't really think we made the Sharks... I don't think the Sharks played great, to be fair. We made them look good because of our errors and the way we were playing. We were just playing too sideways and attacking. That really killed us, I felt like, with our momentum and whatever. But, we didn't make Sharks look anything special. It was more down to our attack that costed us at the end of the day, I felt like. And just, not really throwing enough at the Sharks in Perth. But I feel like... if we can build on that Penrith win, then I think we're definitely a good shot of winning this game, because I think Sharks are still a great side. I know they haven't been great in recent weeks, but they are still a pretty tough side to beat. So I think the boys will be up for this one at Brookie, I hope. So looking forward to it. Looking at both sides, for Manly, Jason Saber's back on the wing from an ankle injury, which helps a lot. So he starts on the wing until Lau goes back to the bench. Jake Trbojevic back from concussion, but starts at prop, which I love. I think Jake nowadays is a better prop than a lock. I think having someone like Jazz who has good ball playing skills and brings a bit of speed in the middle too, it makes more sense, I think. And Jake at prop, probably that's his best role going forward at prop. So I love that move by Siebes. Jake at prop, Jazz at lock, and Josh Aloye is still out with a shoulder injury, and Ethan Bullimore will move from the starting prop side to the bench now. And as for the Sharks, just one change only. Siva Talakai is out with a concussion, so that means Daniel Atkinson joins the bench, and that's about it for the Sharks. Alright, my tip for this game, I'll back Manly, I think at Brookie. Turbo, another week, rested off and playing, had a good game against the Panthers. I thought wasn't amazing, but definitely got his fitness back up again. And I think having Turbo, best backline named, I'm pretty sure, back as well, and naming a pretty decent lineup overall. I do feel like it's enough to beat the Sharks on Sunday, but I think Sharks will be up for it too. But I think Manly to win by 1 to 12 points. First try scorer, going to go Tolu Kola for a try. And anytime try scorers, I'm all on the Kawatu. I think he'll score a try and continue to make his mark to play for the Blues yet again this season. And for the Sharks, I'll go with KL Ero for a try as well. But come on, boys, get the win on Sunday. But that right there was my round 10 tips and predictions for 2025. What's your tips this weekend? Let me know in the comments down below. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching.